Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So before we get started, make sure to hit the like button, also subscribe to my channel. In this video, we will talk about 10 of the most notorious serial killers in the world. So make sure to watch the full video. 10. Richard Ramirez, Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez, or the Night Stalker, was a prolific American serial killer with 15 murder victims and several cases of torture. After having developed epilepsy since childhood, he became a heavy drug user and started believing in Satanism, which was an impetus for his crime. 9. Alexander Pichushkin, the Pizza Park Maniac. Alexander Pichushkin, often called the chessboard killer or the Pizza Park Maniac, used to target homeless men and murder them. He lured them into his home with vodka and killed them with blunt weapons. Most of his victims had signs of repeated hammer blows to the back of their heads, and empty vodka bottles were inserted into the gaping skull wounds. 8. Harold Shipman, Dr. Death. Harold Shipman is one of history's deadliest serial killers who has committed as many as 218 credited murders while working as a popular British physician. He began his murder spree in 1972 and killed over 70 people in his first practice. The number of victims almost doubled at the second practice. His victims were mainly elderly women. Since the initial investigations were handled shoddily, Shipman proceeded with 3 more murders. 7. Luis Garavito, La Bestia. Luis Garavito is Colombia's worst serial killer with over 300 victims. His modus operandi was tempting poor boys between the age of 6 to 16 with money, candy, or odd jobs, only to end up torturing, raping, and killing them. Though he has admitted to 138 acts of crime, the total number of his victims is more than twice that number. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, he has more murder victims than the world's worst serial killer, Pedro Lopez. 6. John Wayne Gacy, the Killer Clown. The friendly neighbor turned serial killer and a sex offender is something no one expected from John Wayne Gacy. Between 1972 and 1978, he assaulted and murdered around 33 teenagers and young men. He would tempt young boys to his house promising them work or money, only to strangulate them with a tourniquet. 5. Jeffrey Dahmer, Milwaukee Cannibal. Jeffrey Dahmer committed his first murder in 1978, at the ripe age of 18. He committed several acts of murder between this time and 1991, when he was arrested for his crime. Dahmer also indulged in acts of necrophilia, as well as cooking and consumption of his victims' body parts. He was caught after a prospective victim overpowered him and reported him to the authorities. His victims were mainly young men of colored skin. 4. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was a handsome, well-educated, and charming man who used his wiles to rape and murder several young women. He was the first serial killer whose trial was streamed on television. Ted Bundy often revisited his crime scenes to indulge in sexual acts with his victims' corpses. Bundy had decapitated some of his victims. A search of his apartment showed 12 such heads kept as trophies. 3. Tsutomu Miyazaki, the Otemku Murderer. Tsutomu Miyazaki committed several hideous acts of crime, including abduction, murder, and even necrophilia on little girls. One of his many hideous acts includes drinking the victim's blood and eating her hand after killing her. He often preserved his victims' body parts as his trophies, gaining the name Human Dracula. 2. Jack the Ripper. With over 100 victims, Jack the Ripper used to haunt the city streets of London in the late 1880s. The victims, who were primarily sex workers, had their throats slit and bodies sadistically mutilated with a carving knife. The killer allegedly sent several letters to the London Metropolitan Police, which taunted officers about the gruesome acts. 1. Ahmad Sureji, Datuk Meringgi. Ahmad Sureji is an Indonesian cattle breeder who has confessed to 42 murders. His victims were mainly girls and young women, whom he used to kill and bury waist-deep in his sugarcane field. He believed this ritual of burying bodies facing his house would make him a compelling person. He was sentenced to death, and his execution was carried out by the firing squad. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.